can get started. For those who don't know me, I'm fortunate enough to be Lieutenant Governor here in Massachusetts, and today joined by our Secretary of Energy and Environmental Affairs, Rebecca Tepper, the Commissioner of the Department of Environmental Protection, Bonnie Heipel, our General Manager from the MBTA, Phil Eng, and Chris Mancini from Save the Harbor, Save the Bay. Also joining us is Undersecretary Maria Bellin, and we're so excited to be here. What a beautiful day and just an amazing backdrop to be out on the harbor. Nothing better than that. So great to be joined as well by Councilor Gigi Coletta Zapata. Sorry, Gigi, I'm still not used to the married name yet. And I don't know if Representative Madaro made it out here, but he's also been a strong supporter of ferry service and access to the water. And there is just something special about being near the water and something that reminds us why places like this matter so much to us. As a former mayor, I know of a historic coastal city. I certainly know how transformative investments in water transportation can be. And we all understand what it means when a community gets a new ferry stop or when people who once felt disconnected from the waterfront finally get a way to reach it. That's why today is so meaningful. MassDEP is awarding over $2.3 million in grants to projects that will expand commuter ferry options, improve water transportation infrastructure, and connect more people to everything that Boston Harbor has to offer. That's jobs, that's schools, green space, recreational area, art, culture, history. It is all there. And we're here in East Boston this morning to highlight one of the grantees, the MBTA. They'll be expanding service and reducing travel time by splitting the current Winthrop-Quincy commuter ferry into two routes, enabling better access, more scheduling, and real opportunities to get people who live on the water actually out into the harbor. That's going to be huge for residents. It's huge for visitors, for anyone who wants to enjoy a beautiful day out on the harbor. And these inaugural grants are not just about boats and docks. It's about really access and opportunity. It's about giving people better, more affordable ways to get to the work or visit places close to where they live or where they love. I know that firsthand. There's no potholes in the harbor, right? There's no potholes in the water. If you have your choice between driving or taking a ferry service into Boston, it is an easy choice. It's about making the harbor feel like it belongs to all of us, not just to those who might live close to it or might be able to enjoy it on a personal vessel or boat. When I was mayor, I saw how hard communities work to reconnect people to the waterfront. After years of being shut out, many of our waterfront areas were tied to older industrial uses, and we're seeing a whole rebirth in many of our docks, our ports, and opportunities to not only support a working waterfront, super important, but also to find access for people to use our harbor in a way that is enjoyable and gets you from one place to another. That doesn't happen easy. It takes real investment, it takes vision, and it takes partnerships like this one. So I want to thank our team that's here, our Environmental Affairs Secretary, Rebecca Tepper, MassDEP Commissioner Bonnie Heipel, our MBTA GM Phil Eng, who's made a real priority to reinvest in water transportation. The T offers ways to get in and around this region by rail, by bus, and certainly by boat, and we put a renewed emphasis on boats. This is just another example of our administration's sort of whole of government approach to making projects like this possible. We're not just improving water transportation, although we're doing that, and that's pretty remarkable in and of itself. We're opening doors and creating equity and helping shape a more vibrant, inclusive future by getting people out in the water. Imagine if you live close to this but can't really experience it, what a difference it makes to be able to hop on a public vessel and get to where you need to go. And with that, I'm going to turn the mic over to our Secretary, Rebecca Tepper, who's been responsible for putting her team together and making today's announcement possible. Secretary Tepper.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Lieutenant Governor. I don't think we could have asked for a better day. I mean, it's just the breeze is beautiful, it's sunny. It's just so nice of all of you to come out to help us celebrate this new access to the water for everyone that we're really excited about and to share with you today. Through these transportation grants, we are investing in the future that is more connected, more inclusive, and more sustainable. As Lieutenant Governor said, these grants will expand and create new ferry routes. It will make it easier for people to move around the harbor, whether they're heading to school, work, or a day on the water. But this isn't just about getting from point A to point B. It's about unlocking access to the cultural and educational opportunities, good to see you, that exist all around Boston Harbor. And with this funding, we're going to make it easier for students to get to outdoor learning programs, and we're opening the doors for families to explore museums, events, and historic sites that they might not have been otherwise able to reach. And we're connecting more neighborhoods to the resources and the experiences that make Boston so special. Growing our ferry system means we're also helping to reduce traffic and cut down on pollution. Fewer cars on the road means cleaner air, less pollution, and that's all a win for us and a win for our environment and for public health. We're also making sure that everyone can enjoy the benefits of the harbor. This means supporting the Mass Convention Center's authorities' initiatives to provide discounted or free rides for low-income communities and offering information about the services in multiple languages. It means making sure that Outward Bound has resources to make improvements to its vessels so that they can continue to provide students from Boston Public Schools with outdoor educational programs. And it means supporting Boston Harbor Now and Save the Harbor, Save the Bay for their efforts in providing free and expanded water transportation for residents who often do not get the opportunity to enjoy the harbor. These grants are an investment for our future in our young people, in our communities, and for the health of our wonderful city of Boston. Thank you everyone here for helping us build this harbor so that it is open, accessible, and full of opportunity for everyone. I'd now like to call upon Commissioner Heupel, DEP Commissioner Heupel, who she and her team have been working tirelessly on getting these grants out the door, and I'm really excited for her to talk to you a little bit about that.
Good morning. Thank you, LG and Secretary Tepper, for your leadership and support for connecting our communities and providing access to the water. Thank you to General Manager Eng for your partnership in this work and for bringing your boat. Thank you, Rep. Matero, City Councilor Coletta Zapata, for hosting us and being here to celebrate with us today. Of course, a special shout out to our MassDEP team who actually did the work to make this happen. Our policy and legal advisor, Ben Hanna, raise your hand, who led the charge to create this grant. Ben helped build this grant program from scratch. This is an entirely new grant program for us at DEP, and it builds on the work of our great Chapter 91 team, in particular Daniel Pageon, Chrissy Hops. So many of our team pitched in along the way to make this day and this grant program possible. And the broad reach of these grants is evident in the group that's gathered here today. We have nonprofits, developers, residents, commuters, campers, students. All of us have a role to play in making sure that we're using Boston Harbor to its utmost potential. As we look out over these glistening waters, we recall that the harbor was not always the jewel it is today. It was stinky. It was polluted. It was riddled at times with sewage, asbestos, debris. It took the work of so many, all levels of government, our elected officials, advocacy groups, residents, and more, coming together to clean it up. When all was said and done, it was one of the biggest public works projects in history, anywhere in the world. And now it's on us to take this beautiful harbor, to seize the opportunity it presents, and to make sure it remains clean, that it's accessible, and that it's serving all of our communities. That's exactly what our Chapter 91 program, our waterways licensing program, does. When there's something new proposed along the waterfront, we work with developers to make sure that public access to the water is maintained. The funds for the grants we're announcing today are part of that process. We're putting them to work. Today's $2.3 million investment will fund repairs and upgrades for reliable ferry transport to visitors and campers at Kathleen Stone Island Outward Bound, support the MBTA's redesign of commuter ferry routes to increase passenger capacity and save riders' time, increase access to ferry service within the seaport for underserved groups in partnership with the Convention Center, expand access to the Boston Harbor Islands for historically underserved communities, grow cultural and educational programming in Boston Harbor, providing free or discounted ferry tickets to the Harbor Islands for Boston Public Library users, and support the Charlestown Navy Dock, making improvements to make the dock more accessible and visitor-friendly. Bottom line, these funds will enhance access to and connect Boston Harbor. So thank you to all of you, everyone, for joining in this celebration. We're really excited to kick off these projects and look forward to working with all of you along the way. Now I'd like to invite the MBTA's General Manager Eng to the podium. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. I really want to thank everyone for being here. Let me start with Lieutenant Governor Driscoll and Governor Healy for allowing me the opportunity and the privilege to serve this great Commonwealth that I have the pleasure of doing. I want to thank DEP. I want to thank the Energy and Environmental Office, Secretary Tepper, and Commissioner Heipel, truly partners in everything that the MBTA's goals are to make quality of life improvements. And it's as the Commissioner talked about, the environment, the harbors, and how we make transportation viable. I want to thank Secretary Tibbetts-Nutt. I want to thank the Mayor of Boston, Mayor Wu, and the Quincy and Quinthrop delegations for the improvements that we've made there. Also, Chris Mancini of Save the Harbor, Save the Bay, all our riders, Rep Madaro, Eastie like I am now. Very proud to be here. In fact, I use this ferry on a regular basis, so why wouldn't we want water transportation to keep growing, right? You know, I have to also thank folks who couldn't make it here today. Lindsay Heffernan, our Chief of Policy and Strategy Planning, Glenn Geiler, who helps with so many different grants, including this one, and lastly, the entire operations team is Ryan Caholen, but the Director of Ferry Operations, David Perry, he is the master behind all of these decisions and recommendations. And I want to say to everyone, literally and figuratively, thanks a million, because I think that's the amount we got out of this grant. You know, the LG talked about it. The grant has allowed us to improve operations, and the Healy-Driscoll administration has been focused on mass transportation, but also water transportation. And over the last few years, we've steadily been growing and improving. This grant, as the LG talked about, has allowed us to break apart the Quincy ferries into two separate routes, shortening the trips for everyone on those routes. And guess what? 126% increase in ridership because of more frequent, more available, and more accessible transportation. That's what we want to do as we make mass transportation more desirable, more available, more accessible. We're helping the environment. We're doing our part to support energy, environment, and DEP. And that's what it's about. Give people options, get people out of their cars. And sometimes when I get asked what's your favorite mode of travel, and I want to be politically correct, but on a day like today, I think being on the water is, may rank over being underground in the tunnel. So with that, I just want to say thank you very much to DEP again. That $1 million is going to help us not only improve service today, but allow us to continue improving service going forward. And let me turn the mic over to Chris Mancini, the Executive Director of Save the Harbor, Save the Bay. Here you go, Chris.
Thank you. Wow, thank you so much. I don't know who gets to go on the boat later, but if you don't, what I usually say, I don't even know if I get to go on the boat later, but if I'm on the boat, we're out in the harbor. For 25 years, we've been bringing thousands of kids out for free on the water from Boston to the Boston Harbor Islands, because about 25 years ago is about when we finally had a clean harbor, as Commissioner Heipel was referring to, and we thought that's a $5 billion investment. We're all paying for it. You're all paying for it. We're all putting our money into that to have this amazing resource. Let's make every chance possible to get a kid, a family, anybody to use those public resources as cheaply or as freely as possible. And once you're out there on the water, you have a shift in perspective. When you're standing out there on the deck of the boat, you look around and you realize, it looks like Boston's all the way over there. I've got to find the T-stop. I got to get over there. I got to get in my car, go over the bridge. But no, the harbor is actually the thing that connects this great city, this whole region. And it's been so rewarding. I'm so in admiration of all the people behind me. On the way in today, I was listening to WGBH just sing the praises of Phil Eng and the Healy-Driscoll administration for those investments, strategic investments they've been making in public transportation to make all those connections possible. And I hate to use the cliche, like, if you build it, they will come. But if we can put all those pieces into place, the boats, the trains, make that as easy as possible. And for the first time in my 20 years living here, like, that really feels within reach. So huge congratulations to all of you. Thank you so much from all of us. And I just wanted to acknowledge a couple folks here. I have a lot of people to thank internally. We have a great team, a great staff at Save the Harbor, and a lot of them showed up today. Our board chair, Michael Leon, who's been with the organization for over a decade and has been a real mentor and guide in all of these processes. Our policy manager, Jason Rundle, who leads our policy efforts. Our program manager, Meg Gonzalez, who is a miracle. She's amazing. She makes sure that those 10,000 kids and families are actually on those boats every day, all summer long, with our fantastic youth staff. Some of our folks, you guys are supposed to be at Pierce Park, I think, right now, but we begged you to come over, who lead those trips. And finally, Emily Scott, our grant writer, who put this whole thing together with me and made sure we could be a recipient of these fantastic funds. So thank you to everyone. It's great when you have a network like this to be able to accomplish things like this. We're excited to expand the program, bring more and more folks. If you haven't been out with Save the Harbor yet, free trips all summer long, weekdays. Now we'll be able to do more weekends, so go to savetheharbor.org, sign up for a free trip. Fortunately, we don't need to use this strategy, but if everything else fails, the key way to get that important waterfront infrastructure and access, if you don't have a network supporting you, everyone know what you need? Peer pressure. Yeah, there it is. All right, thank you.
Adrian or Gigi, you're both here. I know you're fans of this operation. Anything you want to add, please feel free. Come up together.
Thank you, LG. I'll have my brother in service come up with me to provide some remarks because he has some great news on what he's been doing as a state representative here. But my name is Gabriela Caleta Zapata. I am so proud to represent District 1, East Boston, Charlestown, and the North End, so all waterfront adjacent communities. I would say that we have the best views here in Eastie, but I have to be good to my other Charlestown and North End residents, some of whom I see here today. Hi, Lois. Thank you for being here. I just want to express gratitude as an East Boston resident, not only as a city councilor and as chair of the Environmental Justice, Sustainability, and Parks Committee, but as an East Boston resident, a daily Blue Line rider. Thank you, GM Eng, for everything you're doing, expanding late night service and ferry service, to the Healy-Driscoll administration, Secretary Tepper, MassDEP. Thank you so much for these grants. I am a daily Blue Line rider, a weekly ferry rider, and this is really providing access to the waterfront, accessibility, but it's helping with our carbon net neutrality, carbon emission goals. Every single time somebody gets on the ferry rather than their car, it's helping us towards our goals towards 2030 and 2050. So I'm very grateful to be here, grateful for the work that's being done on behalf of all state and city agencies. I also see Chris Osgood here, who's the Director of Climate Resilience at the City of Boston, the newly established Office of Climate Resilience by our great mayor, Mayor Michelle Wu. So just want to extend the gratitude towards everybody doing this work at the state, city, and community level. Thanks so much, and I'll now pass it to my brother in service, State Rep Adrian Modero.
Thank you, Councilor. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to East Boston. Today is an incredibly exciting day. As you can tell, folks, the state is all in on water transportation. I want to thank the Healy-Driscoll administration for your partnership and your commitment to this. Phil, it's wonderful to have you as a constituent, and what you've done with the T, both on the water and on the trains, is just exceptional. And Chris Mancini's a phenomenal partner at the State House and in all things waterfront here in Boston and the greater Boston region. So, you know, when Commissioner Heupel was talking about the conditions of Boston Harbor many moons ago, I actually started questioning my life decisions as a child, because both Gigi and I grew up here in Eastie, and despite odd things floating in the harbor, oil slicks, it never stopped us from jumping in and going for a swim. And for those of you who know me, that may explain a thing or two about why I am the way I am today. But all jokes aside, like I said, folks, we are all in on water transportation. The state representative and I from the North End, Aaron Michaelwicz, Chair of Ways and Means, several years ago, we started securing an earmark to bring back ferry service between East Boston and the North End. This started as a pilot. That's how we pitched it to the T. This was before you, Phil. And here we are, and it is now a permanent fixture of the Boston Harbor. And just in this last budget cycle, we secured funding to add a stop to the seaport. So the goal really being to create this robust inner harbor ferry network to complement what we have going on in Quincy and Winthrop and beyond. And really, folks, this is our best natural resource, particularly if you live on the waterfront here in Boston or in East Boston, where we're surrounded by the water. Historically, we've had very few points of access to that water. We've been reliant on tunnels and bridges. Here we are today, and if you come during the morning rush, this ferry is jam-packed every morning. Same thing in the evening. That, to me, is such an exciting moment in where we are today, because when I grew up, I heard stories from my mom of the old East Boston ferry. That was not the cost of the tea. And so for a blue-collar community like East Boston, it simply was not sustainable. Today, we have this ferry that is the same cost of the tea. It is growing in service, and it is part of this broader network that continues to grow. So I think this is just an exciting moment for Massachusetts, for the greater Boston region, and for water transportation and public transportation generally. Can't wait to see where things go. Thank you all for your partnership. Thank you for being here today. Enjoy your time in East Boston. Eat at our restaurants, hop on a ferry. But anyway, take a swim in a clean water. But anyway, thank you so much, folks. Take care.
Thank you, Councilor, and thank you, Rep. We're excited that this corridor is available to so many, and we're happy to take any questions on topic.
Maybe Bill can answer this, but what's the number of daily, even yearly ferry riders?
You know what? I'm going to ask David Perry to actually, I don't want to misquote that, but we are seeing riders grow day by day. 2 years ago, when we first implemented the Lynn Ferry service, we have seen it continually grow and grow, where we expanded it even further, extended hours. On many routes, we're not able to accommodate every rider that wants to do it, but I'll let David answer in terms of the daily ridership.
What was the question?
Sure. In the calendar year 2024, the ferry system carried 1.4 million passengers. And one of the interesting facts that we have that's related to the grant that we received is that the Winthrop-Quincy ferry used to be one boat doing a loop, Quincy, Winthrop, Boston. And so when we broke that up, you would normally expect that ridership would double, because now you have two boats running what used to be a single route. That didn't happen. Ridership tripled. So this summer already, we've tripled the ridership just by being able to receive this grant from everyone's generosity and implement something kind of innovative and really strategic in how we can expand water transportation and make it better for everyone. So that was really kind of flooring for us to see that ridership grow so much. If you build it, they will come.
And that
the
is
best is yet to come, folks.
The
best is yet to come.
And that is a testament to the Healy-Driscoll administration, the legislative support. You know, over the last few years, we've added the Scudic Explorer, which is out behind us. We've added the Ava Pearl. We've added the Harbor Gem, the Abigail Adams, and just last week we added the Millennium. We are growing our ferry operations to where it can be something that everyone can embrace and enjoy. As the rep said, the best is yet to come. Thank you.
Any other questions on topic? From media, we can take one afterwards for sure. Okay, thanks everyone. We'll talk to you soon.